Ladies and gentlemen, today I have something very special to show you, even more special than FPS Creator and 3D Rad, in fact, because unlike those two game engines, I have sincerely no idea what I'm about to get into. I'm starting this video because some guy commented on the link for the FPS Creator video that I left on my Newgrounds that he remembers some game engine called 3D Game Builder, created by a Brazilian guy, he thinks. And I was like, how weird. 3D Game Builder as a name sounds a bit like 3D Rad, you know, it's got the 3D. Just looking at the comment left on my post, I can assume that this engine was around that same period when 3D Rad was around. And if I'm not mistaken, the author of 3D Rad is called Fernando, which might be a Brazilian name, maybe, actually. It sounds more Spanish, but I don't know what the naming commonalities are in Brazil. But still, I tried to look it up and I found this website, which right away tells me that this engine was made using 3D Rad as a concept. That is awfully interesting because if you know anything about the recent history of 3D Rad, you might know that there is someone out there on the Discord trying to remake this system with a modern take, I guess. It's a very ambitious project and one that I would gladly help with if I had any competence outside of what little I know about C# for Unity. Anyway, this was kind of a red herring. In spite of what I just implied earlier, this project was made by a completely different person. And I don't think that it's like a mod of 3D Rad. It looks very similar, as we are about to say, but I think it was made from scratch. Otherwise, I think the guys who are working on 3D Rad Space, the remake of 3D Rad, might want to watch this video, because apparently you don't have to do everything from scratch. Unless, of course, that was the intention. I don't remember. I might have to check out. Maybe it was deliberate. Anyway, no, Fernando is Spanish, the author of 3D Rad, and the author of this engine is called Edirley Soares de Lima, and he is someone else completely unrelated. But still, I was intrigued by this new discovery and I wanted to investigate. I wanted to create a video kind of like the one of 3D Rad and FPS Creator. There is a couple of problems though. One of them is strongly related to how obscure this engine has stayed throughout its lifespan. Apparently, if you look at the forums, they are all exclusively in Portuguese. You might already be aware of that, but most people don't speak Portuguese. A lot of them do in Brazil, I assume, and Portugal. I'm sure there is a couple of Portuguese people in these forums, but outside of that, I imagine that in the period between 2009 and 2012, where this forum was active the most, it was going to be very hard for any outsider to gather any information. Of course, there is tutorials on the website in question, but they are also in Portuguese and they are translated automatically with Google Translate, which in its current state, I've got to say, it seems like a fairly accurate translation of the tutorial. So I guess if I wanted to opt in and start trying this engine in 2024, it wouldn't be as difficult, but again, back in the day, probably not as easy, since Google Translate used to be considerably worse back then. There is also the fact that unlike the forums for 3D Rad, which have been properly archived multiple times actually, years after they stopped being active and years after the engine was getting updated, 3D Game Builder wasn't so lucky. So if you look at the forums, even if you don't understand a word of what they're saying, you might be interested in, I don't know, downloading some game, maybe to play it for your YouTube channel, and 99% of the links are dead, unfortunately, which sucks. And I've even tried going to the Wayback Machine to find if there is any archives of the URLs that I want to go to. Unfortunately, this website didn't start getting archived until 2020, which is very late, and also the archived pages look like this, so again, not really much to work with. A damn shame, but I still found a couple of games that I could download. My internet browser Vivaldi told me that they are unsafe links, but going through the antivirus, they're fine. I don't know why it does that they're unsafe, but yeah. So we're going to play those two games and we're going to take a look at the engine itself. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Bananas Challenge 3D. I have no idea what this game is about. I guess it could be about monkeys and bananas, and it might be a game in 3D, but jokes aside, the guy I got this from, I don't even know why I'm saying this, it's not really relevant, but the guy I downloaded this from also had a blogspot where talks about religion, and his last post was from 2011. I don't know why, but that made me think. Anyway, yeah, let's play a game. Let's see the controls. Okay, I don't know if you can see the window that popped up because I'm using OBS, but it's telling me arrows for moving and Z to jump. Now, the arrows for moving are very, very weird to me because I wasn't a big computer game back in the day, but I know for sure that games preferred the WASD setting over the arrows. Like, it's generally more convenient, no? It's only 3D Rad games and this one game made with 3D Game Builder that make use of that, as far as I know. Well, not only those games, of course, but like in the indie scene of the time. And oops, what happened there? Well, okay, let's try playing a game. Let's try playing a game, I guess. Okay, there is a time limit. I was saying, I'm gonna assume that the next game I'm going to play here also has the arrows as a way of moving, and it's probably something that is preset. Like, you could code the monkey so that it moves with WASD, but since there is already an automated system in place that makes it so that you can move using the arrows, I guess I'm just going to use that. Does anything happen if I fall in the water? Apparently not. I mean, fair enough. Monkeys can swim. There isn't really much to this game. I'm not going to be too critical, but yes, I guess the thing you do is grab the bananas, and that's it. Whoa there, big guy, settle down, you're spinning too fast, I'm going to puke now. Arena di Zumbis, yes, version 1.1. Aperta enter, I guess means press enter. Oh, okay. It's oh, that's interesting. It's a first person, sorry, not first. A third person shooter. Okay, how do I control this? I can move with the arrows again. I can change camera angles. That's really neat. Not too different in practice, but no, it's cool that it's there. I actually really like the model in 3D here, animation and all. Very high effort, so I'm gonna keep it in third person. I don't understand how I'm supposed to shoot. Clicking the mouse does nothing. Okay, I'm dead. I am pressing anything and nothing. Oh, what did I just do? What? Oh, there is another camera angle. Oh god, I'm dead again. There is no control text file in the thing that I downloaded. Maybe I have to click the gun here manually. No, nothing happens. Apparently I am disarmed, but again, like, oh, okay. Oh, I had to press 2, which, I mean, of course I had to press 2, right? Looking back, I probably should have figured that out earlier, but okay, so I can shoot now. Okay, with A. Interesting choice there. Actually, probably it was common, I don't know, in kind of games to have A for shoot, and I'm just an ignorant. It could very well be. I'm not gonna pretend that I'm an expert. Okay, cute animation when the zombies get destroyed. I like that there is multiple types of zombies, actually. That some that run, some that are glowing. Oh! Alright, last thing I'm going to take a look at before we shut this down. Of course, the game engine itself. I haven't done anything. This is like my very first time opening it, and I really like this little message from the author of the engine. I like that there is stuff like Google Talk and Google Plus, and how ancient this whole thing looks. Very 2012. Last FM. Oh god, I'm going to totally check this out. Okay, well, he really likes Breaking Benjamin and the Shinedown, so there is that. I've never listened to any of them, but I'm sure a lot of the people in the comments, if this video gets any traction, will praise this choice of music. Anyway, let's get down to business. Hello there everyone, sorry for the slight time skip. I was a bit confused by a couple of things, and I also used this break, I guess, to edit the rest of the video. Anyway, we're back, and yes, this is causing me a couple of issues here, because I was expecting this to be a bit more like 3D RAD, in the sense that 3D RAD has a ton of assets that you can just plop into a scene, you know, and it would be relatively easy to sort of make a showcase out of that, since, you know, every object has its own set of properties. With 3D Game Builder it's a bit more complicated, but no big deal anyway. So, the skybox here, I am positive that this is the same skybox that they use in 3D RAD. I don't know if it's true, but it sure looks like it, and yeah, that's funny, nothing really important. You have some properties that you can apply directly to a scene. For example, gravity force here. I remember in 3D RAD it was called gravity force, like the same thing, and probably it's a blanket term used among multiple engines. It could very well be, but regardless, gravity force and a lot of other stuff that kind of applies to the whole scene. Okay, this is interesting, or maybe it's not, maybe it's just me showing my ignorance, because I haven't properly used many engines and Unity is the one that I use the most. But 3D RAD again used this system where you can, through no use of actual script, create these functions within an object. For example, if you click on a sprite or whatever, you can make it activate this action, and yeah, that was neat, very useful for the likes of me. Here I'm seeing though something that makes me assume that you have to write this manually. I suppose that's the language of AngelScript, stuff like on click, on collision, on loop. Maybe it's built in the language, and you just have to, I suppose, use these graphics to make the process of coding slightly quicker than if you were just to write down from scratch, but not as convenient if you were using 3D RAD. So that's that. We have a weapon object here, and well, I really have nothing to say. I mean, I see a lot of numbers. I guess the height is I don't know if it's the model itself or like the range of shooting. Form, sphere, cube, external. I don't think this does anything for this specific object. Enable true or false, of course, pretty self-explanatory. Object default, material. Suppose this is like the texture of the object. You're not seeing any change here, so I don't know what to make of that. Okay, at the actual scale there, you can change the height, the length, and all of that. And the scale of the model and the scale of the collision are two different things, which you might think that's an obvious thing, but again, 3D RAD, I keep comparing this to 3D RAD because the author itself said that this is what this was based off. Those two things aren't interchangeable. You have to create two separate jobs. I was saying, you have to create two separate objects and group them, which, now that I think about it, that's actually how it works in most engines. I guess this is the weird one here for having both these properties within the same object. Cameras, okay. Nothing really to say here. You can change the kind of style and the usual stuff here. Basic but functional, you could say. Here is a bunch of objects. You have already seen them at the beginning of this presentation. There is something I don't understand. If anyone here uses 3D Game Builder or has used it at any point, I can of course click the objects from this scene here and interact with them, but there is no list where I can just go and look at them, like if I write, I don't know, the name. Okay, never mind. I was just saying I don't understand where I can find the list. No, it's here under events. Why is it under events? That's weird. That's weird. Why can I see the list of objects only through the list of scriptable events? That's weird. I'm sure there has to be another way, right? Let's see the options here. Show shadows. Okay, sure. Gizmo, mouse pick system, camera, culling. You can set this in Portuguese, of course, which is nice. There is a model viewer, which not very useful to me right now because I don't have any model imported into 3D Game Builder. I think there was a tutorial in the website, but I mean, there is this plane. Wouldn't that be enough for you? Let's try to run this sucker. Not is possible. Okay. Sure. Not is possible to save the script. Save the changes. Can't execute. Okay. Yeah. I mean, of course. I don't want to make fun of the English of this guy who is likely a lot smarter than me. I just thought it was funny in the moment. Yeah, I think that's it. I don't really know what else to add to what you just saw. It is certainly an interesting engine, kind of like 3D RAD again, comparing it again. It's a shame that the project is dead because there is a lot of potential I can see here. It could have been a spiritual successor in a way, but we are where we are, and I suppose it's not the end of the world. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you in the next video. Remember to wishlist Trauma Pro Wrestling on Steam.